Morning show at East Coast Now. Are you hoping for a soulmate? Well, a first date is really important, and it's the first impression of your potential future partner that maybe, decides on the course of action. Jennifer Haskin is here from Two's Company. She's got advice on creating the perfect first date. How are you?
Hello, Declan. Good morning.
First date. Ugh, that sounds awful.
I know, it's so nerve-wracking for most people, the idea of a first date and going out there and creating the right impression. It can be. It's very daunting for people. First dates everybody's nervous and everybody's got their guard up and they want to, be at their best and look their best.
But it sounds too formal and official and behaviour-wise. You step here and you step there. It's like a dance or something like that. It's better to meet somebody, I don't know, in work or sort of in social circumstances and start you're chatting or something.
Well, that's true, but that's not happening for people nowadays, Declan. It's, when you think about it, years ago, people met, in the office over the water cooler or, in the supermarket at the dine-in for one. That's the kind of, people met those ways, but nowadays people just don't approach one another. They're all very politically correct or they're just afraid of being rejected. And I think the way that life is going now, particularly with the social media, people are just, everything's over the phone, everything's texting, it's over an app, so actual social interaction is reducing. So when you think about it, we're in the communication age where people can communicate with somebody the far side of the world, but they can't actually talk to the person standing next to them. And there is that reluctance to open up and spontaneous interaction with somebody else. So I suppose that's why, traditional ways of dating are still here and stronger probably than they've ever been.
And are people being influenced by social media or magazines or articles or something, and they're in a way programmed to react in a certain way, and if they're outside that, if something is even natural, it has to be contested in their head as not being the way it is done in modern times?
Absolutely. When you think about it, everything is packaged in, this is the way to do this and this is the way to do that. And it's not natural. So I even say to people, look, if they are going for a first date, and I mean, being in the business I'm in, I just say to them, look, if you want to go for a walk, sometimes if you're walking with somebody and chatting to them, you're not as conscious of yourself. You're not looking around at other people. You're walking and chatting. It's an awful lot easier to get into the flow, because the person I'm with at the moment, that was our first date, and he said I interviewed him on the walk, which I did, because it just comes naturally to ask people lots of questions. But sometimes something like that, but a lot of people sort of do the same old, going for a meal and sitting down across the table, or going for a drink and then maybe having too much to drink because they're nervous. So I just say to people, look, go somewhere where you're comfortable, but don't go somewhere where there's a crowd of people or it's a noisy place where you're going to be competing with music or noise of other people.
You have to have an escape route.
Yeah, and have somewhere where you can escape, obviously, yes, if it's not going well. But look, I think people just need to relax a little bit about this. It's a bit like you're going to meet your new friend. This is somebody, if you were introduced to them by a friend, you'd say hello, you'd be relaxed.
So is coffee better?
Coffee can be fine.
Because it can be open-ended.
Yeah, it's not like, I'm going to be here for 2 hours or 3 hours, because how many people do we meet in our life that we actually hit it off with on a daily basis? We meet people all the time and you wouldn't necessarily say, they're going to be my partner for life. So, the odds against meeting somebody that you click with, those odds are very high. And that's why I suppose our job can be so challenging, because it's a bit like, how do we get that perfect match? How do we get people that are just going to click, that are going to feel comfortable with one another and want to spend time together? I mean, some dates go on, for hours, and people say we were kicked out of the place because we were the last sitting there, because they're not aware of time. Time just, goes because they're in the flow, they're chatting, they're in the
conversation.
moment.
It'd be great to find that moment,
That's very special. And when people find that, they just know then that there's something.
So am I right in thinking from what you're saying is that if you set up the whole thing too formal, we'll meet for cocktails and meet for dinner and meet for, that becomes a barrier to actually meeting people that you're with, because you can't talk.
Yeah, it can do, but it depends on what you're used to. I mean, some people wouldn't be comfortable going for a walk or having a coffee. They'd prefer to go for a drink, or they'd prefer to go for a meal. So I always say to people, look, what do you feel comfortable with? You decide, because you're an adult. You know what makes you feel good and what you're comfortable with. So it's different for everybody. You know, we're all very individual when it comes to these things. But I just think in the main, don't make too big a thing out of it. Try and make it as relaxed as possible. You know, I have a funny story. A client of mine, one of our members one time, she came back to say what a wonderful time they had and how they clicked. And she said, you'll never guess, she said, where he brought me for the first date. And I said, where? And she said, it was a surprise, but he brought me to a firing range. And I said, well, my God, most people wouldn't like that. And she said, yeah, but you know, I liked his individuality. I liked the fact that
quirky.
He chose something quirky. And she said, I'm a bit quirky, so it resonated.
Did she buy the product?
Absolutely.
Right, okay. Yeah. Jennifer Haskin is here from Two's Company, and we're going to move on to soulmates. And if you're lucky enough to have found a soulmate, maybe you could even have two. But anyway, we'll ask Jennifer about that in just a second. The Morning Show at East Coast.
The Morning Show on East Coast FM.
The Morning Show
with Declan Meehan.
Now, Jennifer Haskin is here from Two's Company, and we've spoken about the first date and gone through what it used to be like and what it's like now. But how about if you are successfully negotiating through meeting somebody and suddenly they're a soulmate? I don't know if there has to be romance involved or not, but soulmates, what exactly is a soulmate, Jennifer?
Well, it can be defined in different ways, but people often say to me, I knew when I met this person, it was like I was experiencing everything through them. So I'd finish their sentences, or they'd finish mine, or I'd be thinking of exactly the same thing at the same time. And there's a sort of a feeling that this other person knows you and has known you for a long time. So when you meet them, even though it's a new person, then the relationship is new, you feel as though you've been together for a long, long time. And, you know, there's different ways of looking at this, but I do believe that there are more than one soulmate out there. You know, there is more than one. But what defines it really is this deep sense of the person knowing you and really knowing you, your deeper feelings about things. And you connect on that level. And it's easy. So exactly the way you like things, they like things. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have some differences, but there is, there's no struggles. It's very, very easy. You know, you don't sort of tend to fight about things. You know, they talk about things like twin flames and soulmates and things like that. And sometimes twin flames can be people who, when they meet, it's full of intense fire and heat and it burns out quickly. And, you know, people have those relationships, but they teach us a lot, you know, and we learn a huge amount from relationships.
Probably laugh the same jokes and things like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
As you know what they say, he gets me or she gets me.
Yeah.
And it's somebody who just gets you, because, you know, you could make a joke and they just get it, or you say something and they know exactly what you mean. You don't have to sit there and explain everything, you know. So there is a sort of a connection there that goes deeper than just the whole physical.
But they don't have to be romantic.
No, you can have a friend who's a soulmate who you feel the same way about. I mean, women have a lot of friends that are like soulmates. I mean, men can too, but not with the same intensity as women do. You know, women can have friends that they feel are there for life, that know them and can change their mood. You can actually be with a friend, you could be down, and within 5 minutes of talking to them, your whole mood has changed because you feel like they know you. And that's when you meet a member of the opposite sex that has the same effect. That's an amazing connection to have. That's an amazing relationship.
But the opposite person, say, could be like a sisterly or a cousin, or might necessarily have the click of the sex in it or something. Yeah. But it could be just a meeting of fun minds.
Yeah, and where you recognise yourself in the other person. And that's it. It's like a recognition that there's something about that person that you see that is like a reflection of you. And there's a great ease with that. You know, you feel very, very comfortable with that person.
Your incumbent partner can be jealous.
They can be, and that has happened in the past too, where it's, it
even though there's nothing sexual in it, it's just that there's a meeting of minds.
Absolutely. It can even happen within families. You know, that maybe, girls are very, very attached to their mothers or their fathers, and a spouse can be sort of jealous of that connection or of that relationship. It can be between brother and sister, or sisters or brothers. So we can all have different types of relationships that encompass this whole soulmate idea. But as I say, in a relationship, in a personal relationship, like a sexual relationship, it is heightened then, because we're also physically connected with the person as well as emotionally.
And does it often happen? You can't invent it. You can't
create it. You can't invent it. No, I've often had people come and say to me, "Oh my God, this person is so amazing. They're everything I've ever wanted in a partner, but I just can't get the chemistry going. And I would give my right arm if we could just have the chemistry." And unfortunately, if that's not there for a lot of people, they need that. They need that extra. Connection.
But maybe they need the partner and this person in their lives, which can cause conflict.
Yes,
I suppose. Jennifer, there's so much to talk about. Everybody, or at least almost everybody, and hopefully everybody, has relationships of different complications and different permutations and different difficulties. Are you going to come in again?
Absolutely. I mean, I'd love to be able to say to people, look, if anybody has a particular question or a challenge that they're going through in life right now, ring in or, text in or email in, and I'd be happy to answer any of the questions they have. Because with my background I've studied psychology for over 30 years, I'm a qualified counsellor and psychotherapist. So therefore, anything to do with human interaction, human behaviour, the mind, but particularly in the area of relationships, I'm very happy to talk to them about it and give them what advice I can. And obviously, it would be great if it helps people in any way, because we all go through relationship struggles, but relationships are our biggest growth. We have more growth in our lives through relationships, be them bad or good. And there's no such thing as a bad relationship. It's always a time for growth, and it's easy to look at it like that after the event. Okay. But believe you me, it is a time of growth.
Okay, she's going to come back to us, Jennifer Haskin of Two's Company, based in Dunleary. If you want to go on the side and have a chat with her or organisation, if they can point you in the right direction for your future relationships. But Jennifer come back to talk about, hopefully not just difficulties, but maybe people who will want to relate good things about their relationships too.
Absolutely. Let's hear them.
Right, Jennifer Haskin, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.